All right, so here we are at the Western Railway Museum in Rio Vista, California. We're here for something called Railfan Day, and we're going to meet our friend Mike Ninneman that we met at the Bay Area Prototype Modelers meet a couple months ago. And I don't really know what to expect. Is there anything you're going to be expecting or looking for here? I mean, other than trolleys today?
Not really. This is the first time I've been here, so I'm just happy to be here and to see what they've got.
Yeah, I was here, I think, about 35 years ago. We're going to double check that and make sure this place was here 35 years ago. But I remember being taken to a place like this when I was a kid, so I guess we'll see what happens. So here we are with Mike Ninneman. You may remember him from the Bay Area Prototype Modelers meet that we were at in June. Mike invited us to this event, so thank you for that, Mike.
No problem.
Yeah, and he's going to kind of show us around here today because he's a volunteer, as we learned at the BAPM meet. And I just learned about this car that's behind us here. Why don't you tell the camera the story that you told me a minute ago about this car?
Okay, well, this streetcar is Key System 271. It is what is known as our association's mother car. And we call it that because it was the first car our association ever acquired. What happened was in 1946, a group of our original members was riding the car, and they learned from the motorman that the car was going to be scrapped within the next week after the excursion. So what they did was they passed a hat around through the car and collected $250 to purchase it. And eventually, owning that car was what formed the Bay Area Electric Railroad Association, and that's what formed a museum that we have here today at Rio Vista Junction. Ten or so years ago, we had an accident where one of the cars didn't stop in time and ended up, not catastrophically smashing in the end of the car, but, damaging it a little bit. So we're taking care of some of the rot that was in that area, as well as replacing the siding and also repairing some of the controls that haven't been tended to in many, many years. We're hoping to have this car out on Members Day.
So we're in the same barn, just feet away from where we were a second ago, and suddenly there's another car here that we need to hear something about. This is pretty cool stuff.
Well, I thought this car was worth showcasing because it was built in 1895 by Carter Brothers in Newark, California, as a passenger car. But in 1915, it was motorized and used by the Key System as what is known as a line car, which has an insulated platform on top to go up and service the overhead wire. So it's a very interesting car. It is 121 years old, and it still operates.
So you'll remember when we first got here, I was talking about having been here a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure that car behind me is what I rode some 35 some odd years ago when I was here, because when I saw it I thought, boy, that looks awfully familiar. And talking with some of the people here, including Mike, it seems that it's one of the few cars that's been here that long, or might have been running at that time. So I think this is it, and I think I just came back full circle now.
Peninsular Railway 52 was built in 1903 by the American Car Company for the Los Gatos Interurban Railway. It was eventually consolidated into the Peninsular Railway in 1909. When the 52 was retired in 1934, it was sold to a farmer who had given it to his wife for use as a sewing room, and that's the way it stayed until 1969, when in the area where the farmer had his property, a freeway was being constructed at that time. So the car was in the way and needed to be moved, so they offered it to the Bay Area Electric Railroad Association, and that's how we got the car. It came just as a car body, no truss rods, no trucks, no controllers, no electronics, nothing. It was just a body, and we restored it and is one of our main runners now. This car is Portland Traction 4001. It was built by the Coleman Car Company, Coleman with a K, in 1926. It was in service on the Portland Traction Company until 1958, and at that time our organization didn't really have any place to store our cars. So in 1948, one of our other acquisitions, Key System 987, we sold that to the Portland Traction Company for $1. And then in 1958, when service ended on the Portland Traction Company, we bought both the 4001 and our Key System 987 back for a reasonable price. And this is our newest restoration, freshly came out of the shop. We'll be riding this car out to Gum Grove, at which point we'll detrain and we'll wait for the Key System bridge unit, which was one of the cars that ran across the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. The Key System 182 was built in 1937 by the Key System, rebuilt using older parts from former Key System equipment. And it was used between 1939, when the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge opened, until 1958, when service on the Key System ended. When service ended on the Key, we acquired this bridge unit and brought it to our museum in the 60s. And it's now one of our regular operating cars.
The 4001 takes us back to the museum. The 1005 is being pulled out of the car barn and will star in the next set of run-bys out at Gum Grove. We're taking the 4001 back out to Gum Grove. We've hiked a couple hundred yards south of Gum Grove to the Shiloh Road crossing, where we'll catch 1005 with its short train. A short time later, 4001 comes into view, headed north toward Gum Grove. 4001 shuttles the photographers back to the museum. We're about to board the 4001 for a final trip to Gum Grove to watch the San Diego MTS 1018 make its run-by.
It's a great operation here, and a really neat. It just everything about it is just really neat. The equipment is preserved very well. Looks good. The track work was actually pretty good too. So, any closing thoughts you have?
It was great having you guys here. I had a great time personally myself. We had a lot of picturesque opportunities out on the line today. And it's just great to have you guys here because you guys are both great people, just great individuals. So it was very fun to hang out with you today.
I'm sure there must be a website that people can go to and see, what all is offered here. And then we'll go to Dan for some final thoughts in just a second. But first, maybe plug the website a little bit.
It's www.wrm.org.org. If you guys are interested in any additional information that you didn't find in this video today, just visit the website, wrm.org, and you can get everything that you want.
I just wanted to say I had a really good time. This is actually my first time that I've ever been here, and I was pretty pleased with what I've seen and enjoyed it a lot, and it was great having Mike as a tour guide. and they've got a great collection of stuff here. I mean, it was neat to film the trains that were running, but it was also really neat to look at the ones that are stored in the car barns. They've got several big car barns full of equipment. So, if you have any interest in traction especially, or, just railroading in general, it's a great place to visit.
Before we go, Mike just told us that this bench that we're sitting on came from 16th Street Station in Oakland, which is the station that the song that follows our podcast usually is the video for. That was a song that Dan wrote for his Iron Road album.
Yeah, so it's kind of neat to actually see one of the benches from that place.
Yeah.
So kind of cool.
Gonna just kind of soak in the 16th Street vibe. So Dan, where can we find that wonderful album of yours?
Well, it's available on the TSG website in the store, and it's also available on my personal website, danielcortopassi.com, and it's also in the store.
And it's on iTunes too, isn't it?
It is on iTunes, yes. If you want a downloadable version, you can go to iTunes, and you probably have to search for me because, it's not like I'm going to be up there on the top or anything, but, if you really want to find it, you can find it.
And the drumming is exquisite.
Yeah, John did the drumming on the album, so.
Oh, hold on. I need to make sure I don't want anybody to recognize me. And the drumming is exquisite.
Yeah, John did the drumming. So the album's called Iron Road, and it's under my own name, Daniel Cortopassi.
I don't know who the drummer is because he's in costume now.
We have penguins here at the museum, too.
We have penguins here at the museum, too.
We'll get you back in the studio when we're not so damn tired.